Hey, what's going on, Carton? How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. It's is the mic here?
He should be hopping on here soon.
Great, great. Thanks for hosting, by the way.
Got my Bluetooth. There we go. Oh, no problem. Yeah, glad to have you on. I mean, we've been following ORA Protocol for quite a bit now, um, and I guess I'll save the entire intro for when everybody hops on. But yeah, love what you guys are doing. Think the Oracle product you're building is really cool as well, and really excited to just kind of hear it from you firsthand.
Appreciate that.
Were you at ECC?
Oh yeah, we were.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's actually where I met Ben from the Talus team as well. Was at ECC and a bunch of other people in the AI space.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely was like the major topic.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of cool, side events and stuff.
Right. Yeah, let's wait for Mike.
Cool. GM Patty,
Yo, what up, guys?
what's going on?
Not much. Just had the morning coffee. How
Good,
you go?
good, good. Crucial,
Crucial.
the
Hey,
crucial
Carden.
element for success. Mike is in the house.
Perfect, perfect. How are you, Mike?
He's just requesting to get up on stage here. Let me add him.
Good.
What's up, Mike? How are you?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good,
Pretty
good.
good. Pretty good.
Good.
Can't complain.
We're waiting for
Is
Ben, right?
Yep, I think so.
Who you are waiting for?
Ben from Talus. Alec
Uh,
unfortunately can't join us today as I think he's catching a flight.
Yeah.
Um, but we should have Ben on here any moment. If not, we'll give it a few minutes and then we can kind of kick things off. Mike, I finally got Asado today. Just thought I'd let you know. It was second to none.
Yeah, I think nothing can beat some Argentina in asado. Ben is in the audience, by the way. At
Got
least I
him.
saw him. I saw him for a sec. Okay, there he is.
Cool. I just accepted him. He should be hopping on here soon. Wait. Approve. Elon, please fix. That's weird.
Elon prefix.
I'm trying to add, invite to speak. Okay. Ben, I invited you up here. He's leaving. Well, we're
He's
gonna
ready.
try not to break the we're gonna try not to break the space like Elon did with Trump last night. I know, millions of people want to listen to us speak tonight, but unfortunately we're gonna have to cap the audience.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't think there's like a single time where these Twitter Spaces work without a single glitch. Like, there's always something somebody can't hear or somebody can't speak.
Always. Ben, are you able to speak? It says you're a speaker on my end, but it's a
Yeah,
listener
yeah, yeah.
on.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, did y'all listen to that space yesterday? It was 3 hours long. They just
I
kept going.
clocked out after like 15 minutes, man. I
Yeah.
couldn't listen animore're.
It
They
was
got
pretty funny.
all I remember is that the on Polymarket the word tampon hit from
Yep.
93% no, 7% yes, and 7% hit, or 7 cents.
Amazing.
7 cents hit.
That's proof that gambling is the way to make your riches. So don't invest in assets, just gamble. Well, yeah, but some people might vote for Harrison though.
Facts. All right. Well, cool. Thank you all for joining us here tonight, today, this afternoon, this morning, wherever it is you are in the world. Really excited to have Talus Network on and Aura Protocol on. I'll let them introduce themselves a little bit later, but really wanted to kind of just explore this topic of a democratized AI model ownership. It was something that Patrick and I discovered probably, a month or two into our, AI research. And it was something that we kind of like cling to as more of a North Star and general direction that we see decentralized AI moving towards. So these guys, fortunately, are building that exact solution, trying to, create and enable this democratized AI model ownership that we are very, interested in learning more about. And they've also, merged and they're putting their brains together to create different versions of that. So without further ado, I guess I'll let, Carton, if you'd like to introduce yourself and a little bit about Aura, and then Mike, I'll hand it off to you after Carton gives his intro.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm Carton, the co-founder for Aura Protocol. What we are building is Ethereum trustless AI. So we provide like the AI oracle on chain, so that smart contract can use AI inference on blockchain. That's the number one business, and the second business we does is the IMO initial model offering, which is like focused on the foundation model to tokenize the foundation model on blockchain. And then like once the model was like published on blockchain, we will turn it into AI Oracle. Once AI Oracle generate the profit, we will share with the model token holder.
Amazing. Mike?
Yeah, so we at Talus, we're building an AI agent hub, and this means that we're building a blockchain that has an agentic framework on top of it and make it extremely easy for you to deploy on-chain AI agents that would serve like Web3 use cases like DeFi, GameFi, SocialFi, or even just consumer applications like chatbots and so forth with blockchain or token incentives. We're actually partnering with Aura Protocol as well to bring opML into the Talos ecosystem as like an inference provider. But also we're probably going to talk about this a bit later, looking to exploring and developing, um, or taking the initial model offering that they've built into the next level with initial agent offerings, which has a pretty similar dynamic. But not only you could just monetize like models, but you could monetize agents and their productivity.
Amazing. Very cool. Yeah. So I guess before we kick it off, I mean, I want to keep this conversation pretty theoretical, just because we can dig into the nitty gritty, in different spaces some other time, and want to just, I guess, inform everyone in the space today, generally about, democratized AI model ownership. So I guess, Carton, what generally, I guess, originally got you interested in AI, specifically, IMOs that you're building?
Yeah, I have some laggy. Like, what was the question?
Oh, sorry about that. What originally sparked your interest in building kind of democratized AI model ownership?
Oh yeah, actually, it come out from the idea that AI GCNFT at the beginning. So like it was like 2 years ago. Like I wrote an EIP. It's like EIP 7007, which is like AI GCNFT. And then I realized that um like when you use like the inference become an on-chain asset, then how about the model itself? So that's like the moment I come up like this idea with my friends. And
So,
yeah, tokenize
yeah,
the AI model. Because like I remember back to last cycle, like people was like try to tokenize everything, right? And I think tokenize everything is a good vision, but like it's really not that practical. Like imagine you have like the house, you tokenize the house, but you cannot enforce the ownership transfer to you when you have all the token. It's just like not practical in the real world without enforcement. So I think like when we tokenize something, that thing must be on chain or should be virtual. So like that's like the moment I come with IMO idea to tokenize a virtual asset that's on blockchain, so we can trace the income. Because like when we talk about asset, right? Like that is more about like that's the asset difference between asset and money is that like asset will generate profit, and like so AI is like a perfect AI model is like a perfect asset for blockchain because it's like fully virtual, and you can enforce the activity on blockchain. So that like the most ideal thing in the world to be tokenized. I
Hmm.
realized that a while ago, and yeah, that's how I come up with the idea.
That's great. And Mike, what kind of got you interested in Aura Protocol's IMOs, or I should say IAOs, specifically with Talus's use case?
So let me take a step back and say what got me interested in agents, and then I could tie that
Totally.
back to IAOs. So I think like specifically agents are what's going to make AI actionable. Like right now you have an AI model and it's like a zero shot inference. You provide a prompt, get a output or an inference, and then that's it, right? But like there's no real automation within the AI models by themselves, and AI agents take that into the next level where you could provide context, could provide like a workflow, or even just general insights into an agent, and then have the agent completely operate autonomously to accomplish your goals. Obviously, we could dive into the whole like process of how that happens, but once you have these agents operate, they'll be very productive. Like they'll save users time and save people's time, whether you want to just like trade or generate wealth, or even if you would just want to chat or entertain yourself with an agent. Like that's obviously possible. And I do think that people will buy or would want to have access to these agents, and they'll behave as just like traditional services or products. So there's, as Carden just said, like you could tokenize models because they're an intelligent asset. Well, you could also, in the same time, tokenize agents and make them a productive asset, and just have these agents provide revenues back to their initial owners while they accomplish or complete users' goals.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Go ahead.
major thing like is that agent is like the actual entity that is like in productivity, right? Like most of the time we don't use foundation model directly.
Ben, if you'd like to add your take on what got you interested in AI, I'd love to hear it, man.
What got me into AI?
Yeah, definitely. I think that at the beginning, can you hear me,
Yep.
Brody?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that Mike hit on the main points. We had at the end of last year when we met, we had a lot of conversations about what we wanted to build, what we wanted Talus to look like, and we knew some of the parts that we wanted to use, like Move, for instance, which we felt was the best developer experience, best language and execution stack in all of crypto, and we knew that AI and crypto together were the two most powerful technologies in the world, and what would make sense in combining them. I think that compute, inference in particular, it makes sense that you would want that to be decentralized, or that it's an unlock if it's decentralized, because there's a lot of home hardware lying around that can contribute to inference.
Mm-hmm.
I think for data, that of course makes sense, and that a lot of people are working on data labeling and figuring out different ways to conduct data ownership.
Yep.
And then the third use case that we talked about was AI being able to buy stuff for you. That's a really exciting new unlock that would be a huge unlock over what we have available today in Web 2 with generative AI, is actionable AI that can do stuff for you, and AI that can buy stuff for you. And, like we talked about one use case in the future that I hope that Talus can support in the next 5 to 10 years, which is that you give a natural language command to an agent, and the agent books a flight for you.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I want to fly from here to here on this date at this time or around this time, and I don't want to spend more than this amount of money. That would be a huge unlock for what AI can accomplish for consumers, for individuals. And the only way to do this, the only way to have AI be able to buy stuff for consumers and to make that an extensible product is to use crypto and to create new Web3 infrastructure to support this use case, and not only support it, that is optimized for this use case. So that's why we're building Talus. There's no TradFi infrastructure, there's no Web2 infrastructure that could support AI being able to buy stuff for you, right? Like AI buys stuff all the time in the economy today. Most of the trading on the Nasdaq is HFT.
Yep.
It's algorithmic trading, right?
Totally.
So it's certainly possible today, but crypto solves a composability problem because it's permissionless and it's composable. So you can sync on state with two actors on opposite sides of the world can sync on state really quickly. Hopefully at the speed of light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a much more preferable environment for AI. That if you want agents that are composable with one another, that can interact with one another, and can be composable with the assets with which they're transacting, then they need to live on a common data layer. And that's what Talus is. So we create the tools to build these agents to live on this common data layer with the assets they transact.
Yeah, we totally see it like sort of heading in that direction, and that's sort of what got us initially interested in Talus. Brody and I sort of came up with this sort of idea, which I think you guys read, around autonomous economic value creation, and how these agents interacting with each other can sort of create value beyond, what's sort of happening in the real world today, where one action typically just leads to one reaction. With these agents, you could interact with your own personal agent, and that agent can go off and create a cascade of other agent interactions, ultimately leading to almost like endless value creation, and sort of leading to these super hyper efficient markets, which is just super interesting to us. um, Carden, maybe you could take this one. If we sort of pivoted into maybe a little bit of the high level technical application of like what Aura is actually building to sort of enable this future. Could you talk to that a bit?
Oh, right, for sure. So what we are building is like technology called opML, like that enable like on-chain inference or decentralized inference. Because like when we wanna have like AI decentralized, the main bottleneck there is like how you can trust a inference that done by somebody you don't know, right? So like in Aura, we developed a tag called opML that like use the fraud proof system to make the AI inference become verifiable. Like I'm thinking about to like recently I come up with like a new architecture can actually also do the training too. So like the opML tag is like what Aura is focusing to build right now. It's like we are building something called fraud proof virtual machine that can be used specifically for AI inference. Because like when you want to verify somebody else inference, the first thing you need to solve is that like the deterministic problem, right? Because like same AI inference can be different in different machine and different people's hand, and we gotta have like use some quantification to make it become the same thing or like control it in a certain range of the loss of the difference. And so that's the backbone technology that both Aura and Talus is using that to use to have the AI inference decentralized. And another method is like called ZKML, like that we also have some exposure there. It's called Keras to Circum. But the only problem with ZKML is like it's really pricey, and also like you cannot really use it for a large model. And we see the AI model update itself like every month. Like pretty much every few months you will hear that like somebody open source the best language model or best like certain AI model in different sector. And I think the AI itself evolve way faster than ZK. So like it's gonna take forever for ZKML to catch up for the latest model. And I think like in the rest of the year, or at least for the rest of the cycle for crypto, like AI still will play a really dominant part because like AI represent the new actual tech innovation in the world not just for US, it's like probably just for the whole civilization, that we bring artificial intelligence to another level, so we can have high efficiency to convert the energy into like some sort of like a low entropy product to our system.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys are building just a ton of cool things. And, like you described the core backbone of ORA protocol, which is this opML and verifiable inference. And it sounds like this has been, a huge area of opportunity for a lot of these AI builders. But something that
Right.
is unique to ORA that I have yet to see from a lot of other participants in the market is your guys's, IMO framework. And, there
Yeah.
are there are a couple people doing it. You've got Morpheus's fair launch platform. I think Magnet AI is also trying to build something similar. So, what have you kind of been seeing? Have you been seeing a lot of excitement from the market and people trying to leverage the IMO framework? Like, what are you kind of seeing on that end in regards to popularity and hype around it?
Yeah, I definitely really glad to see many people to try to do IMO, IAO in the field, because like this is not like a monopoly, like a kind of sector. The more people do it, actually make it better. So like the hard part in here is that like when you try to do an IMO, you need to find a really good team or I would say like a really good AI researcher or scientist that actually build a new structure, architecture, or new kind of AI model. So you will make the asset class become meaningful. Um, so that is actually the hard part, to have the right people to do it, because like AI people normally have like really strong bias on like crypto people. So they think, oh, crypto people are scammer, unfortunately. But like I think the time will make it like make it better. And the hype around IMO definitely is true, because like when people want to invest on OpenAI, you just have no way to do it right now. Like probably the only way for American is like you buy the Microsoft, the stock of Microsoft, but even that is like not direct exposure. And um and we know that like the any company just like take responsibility for their stakeholder, right? And if most people are not the owner for OpenAI, then you cannot expect that it's working for everyone. But fortunately, we can have crypto to tokenize AI model. So IMO the first AI model few months ago. Like it's like the OLM is doing really well. There is a DAO called OLM Research. It's like try to make that model better and better. And they have the product called Chat OLM. You guys can check it out. It's like chatolm.com. They actually make it out, and it's like really like similar like with ChatGPT, but with like open source AI model in it. And also you can ask any question. So like one use case for on-chain AI inference, I would say, is like the on-chain AI can just like answer, and you can ask on-chain AI for every like all the problem, all the question. You don't need to worry about it will get censored. The censorship resist is like the most critical value for crypto, right? So that like people can use, like when people want to ask about the medical advice, you can just go to chatolm.com instead of like ChatGPT, because like ChatGPT won't give you any practical like medical advice, right? And but people actually need that. But because many different reasons, maybe people who control the medical system want to make more money, so they will ban that use case for the AI. But fortunately, we have the crypto to unlock that use case for people that actually need a on-chain AI doctor, need an AI doctor in general. But because many regulation reasons, they cannot have that normally. It's like reason why we need Bitcoin, right? Because like we don't want the only asset we can hold is like an inflatable fiat money on our hand. And that is like the IMOs, like the chat IMO or the chat OLM actually like show the flywheel for IMO is like working, because the flywheel for IMO is like once you publish this AI model on chain with the tokenization, then people will buy the token and then build the product around the token or around the AI model, so that they can have like more benefit from it. And then this experiment, it's like more like a social experiment, and now it's working, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think censorship resistant AI enables a ton of cool things because obviously you're getting half the results or a quarter of the results that you would by using a centralized AI. And generally, you have the freedom to build your own products, which, in a centralized environment, it's very difficult to kind of, use the APIs to build those, unique products. And as soon as, OpenAI takes a change or pushes a change, then it can completely destroy, a business built on top of the Open API wrapper or whatever, like the wrapper API companies. So with that being said, I think this area of opportunity really lies in kind of agentic protocols, and it's a pretty natural bridge over to pass the ball back to Mike and Ben. We've done a lot of research as well as on agentic protocols, essentially agents that kind of go out and are set to accomplish various tasks in the interest of creating financial gains or conducting specific business activities, and all of those revenues flowing back to a pool that can then be redeemed from the owners of the token, right? So essentially what IMO is doing, but specifically in the application of on-chain AI agents. Mike or Ben, would you like to kind of address what you see happening on the agentic protocol side? And I'm sure that Talus has some plans to build in that direction and enable that kind of functionality.
Yeah, I want to focus on something that you guys said that's important. Not only like censorship resistance is important because you obviously want anybody to be able to access and use the model for any type of question, but I think also like biases or like unbiased models should be very important in like these open ecosystems. Because for example, like okay, you could have Llama 3 that's an open source model that could be hosted on any server. Let's say you host it on like opML, and it is censorship resistant because anybody could come and use it, but it's not necessarily unbiased because when like Facebook release a model with like certain weights, like that's a way that the model is defined and that's how people will end up using it. So like if you ask Llama 3 how to, let's say, or to give you like medical data or just like medical advice, as the example that Cardin pointed out, it's not going to give you the right advice, right? So we need to make sure that these models are trained and actually executed in the proper way with unbiased weights. And then talking with regards to the actual like infrastructure for like agents, I think we're seeing more and more of these like frameworks coming even from like the Web 2 world where you have the ability to like deploy an agent, set up like the tools that agent should use, and these tools could be like a Web 2 API. Let's say you're searching for like Twitter data or from data from like Reddit, or it could be other like Web 3 endpoints like smart contracts or other functions in the context of, let's say, DeFi. Let's say if you want to build an agent that reads data from Twitter, it would use like a Web2 tool to extract the data and then use that data to analyze and create some type of sentiment analysis that would be used to then trade on Uniswap, for example. And then you would have the Web3 data, which is like the interface between the agent and Uniswap to be able to transact. And from with this specific like format, you could build much more complex agents that, let's say, you could integrate them into games, integrate them into like social fi applications, or even just enable and build Web2 looking like agents that have blockchain incentives and blockchain backends for decentralization and for like the for enabling composability for them. I don't know if I answered your question, Brody, or if Ben, you want to add something else.
Yeah, I think Mike gave a great detailed explanation of that. If I could just take a step back and explain it more generally, I want people to think about AI agents on Talus as AI that can transfer money. That specifically, because there's a lot of development in Web 2, and this is very positive for everybody building in Web 3, but there's a lot of people who are focused on building AI agents in Web 2, whether you're talking about Devin, Microsoft Copilot, Harvey, which is a legal AI agent. The ChatGPT and Apple intelligence integration is very clearly working toward agentic workflows and native to iOS, opening up app APIs to agentic workflows. So there's a lot of people who are working on this, and I'm very confident about following this headwind. I think the major unlock you get with crypto is that AI will be able to buy stuff for you. And that's what Talus is focused on, is this use case of I should be able to direct AI to carry out my intents in DeFi in every area of DeFi. And then expanding from there, every aspect of my Web3 experience, of my internet experience, should be customizable so that both customizable and autonomous, if I choose for it to be, because that's how advanced and performant AI agents will be. So that's really the infrastructure that we're trying to build, that allows for that end vision. I also think that there's incredible value in making this stack, this AI agent stack, permissionless, because we're starting to see a lot of AI verticalize in Web 2. We're starting to see agents verticalize in Web 2, which is clearly the goal of the ChatGPT Apple partnership. If you think about in the most simple sense, the basic building blocks of AI are data, compute, and the model you're running. All of the data in Web 2 is owned by the Web 2 giants, the large tech companies, right? This is one of the chief complaints about Web 2. All of the compute is owned by tech giants. You see that all of the development of early technology, like the foundational models, has been co-opted by tech giants because they have all of the capital to subsidize capex, to be buying H100s and all of this really expensive hardware early on in the development process. That even for a lot of AI startups, the only exit strategy is to get acquired by Google or Microsoft or one of these tech giants. And then models, right now we've seen parity with open and closed source models, or pretty close to it. In the future, though, the goal is for everyone building proprietary technology is to create walled gardens, silos, especially data silos, as because a big reason why we've seen parity, I think, between open and closed source models is because Common Crawl has already touched everything. There's only so many Wikipedia pages on the web, but for new data that's created, that's the future of that in Web 2 is BD deals. That's not an open innovation space. That's an innovation space that's controlled by a very few select handful of powerful actors like OpenAI, and that's not a great outcome for AI, in my opinion. That's not a great outcome. So I'm at Mountain DAO right now in Utah, which is a hacker house for high throughput blockchains. We work through a lot of these ideas. I was explaining this idea of Talus, and I was explaining to the point I made earlier that the proof that this concept can work is evident in TradFi already. Most of the trading in TradFi is HFT. Most of the trading in crypto is HFT as well. There are agents, depending on how you want to define an agent. You could say BonkBot is an agent, right? Except it's not on chain. It pings the Binance API, and that trading goes through a centralized exchange, right? So why would I want an agent on chain? Why would I want an agent on Talus? That alone, if you understand the sheer risk, this potentially scary outcome of AI being controlled by just a few really powerful entities, then adding principles of decentralization in there, adding principles of permissionless value transfer, permissionless participation into agentic workflows, that makes all the difference, and that I think is worth that is worth a lot of value, extremely valuable. That you can make these agentic workflows permissionless in the same way that like DEXs, even you go back 10 years ago, like why does an AMM need to exist? We knew from day one that order books were more efficient. Well, because there's incredible value in having permissionless markets, right? Like that's a huge reason why crypto was invented and why Web3 was invented. Well, all of that should be applied to AI as well, and that's what Talus is working toward. That if you have an AI agent that can do something in Web 2, you have platform risk, right? You can be Apple can shut you down at any minute, or Google can shut you down at any minute, or the government can come and shut you down at any minute. I think there's incredible value in adding principles of decentralization and taking the concept of permissionless financial markets and combining that with AI. I think that's super important for humanity.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I come up with like the topic I thought about in EFCC is like why there's no alien, right? Like because probably they do not have AI model ownership, so they all fail to go through the gray filter.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Carton?
Oh, have you guys think about it? Why there's no alien?
What do you mean alien?
Alien, like literally alien, like the big head, small body guy.
Like ET.
Why
Like yeah, right.
why are
Like
there no
yeah, why
aliens?
there's no alien?
Why are there no aliens? Like the Fermi paradox? Is that what
No,
you're?
no, 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 no. What I'm referring is like, so have you guys heard about like the gray filter?
I haven't now.
Okay, yeah, it's like from a really famous physicist in America called Freeman, and like one night he just asked his colleague if there's like so many planet in the universe, there must alien there, right? And
Yeah. For the Fermi paradox,
right, right,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
And the reason why there's no alien visit us or we haven't seen any alien is because like they all die before they can actually become a like multiplanetary species.
That's an
And
interesting concept.
yeah, that is because there's something called the grand or gray filter ahead of like all the civilization. If you cannot like break it, then you will fail. And like just like your civilization will still in your planet and cannot go to another planet. So reason why I bring it up is like I think about this, right? Like essentially we need a escape velocity for the speed that developing a new science and engineering, so that we can get out from the gray filter. Like actually it's like require how fast you develop a new technology um and new engineering knowledge. And the reason why it's like so slow right now because it's like unknown and because they don't have blockchain to like really figure out the. I have a really general thesis. Is like the reason why we haven't seen any alien is like probably human is like the only species in the universe that come up with blockchain idea to coordinate the relationship between like different technology. So it's like, for example, the AI ownership, right? Like that must be done by blockchain, bro. It's just like you have no another way
So
to really do it. So once you,
So Cardin, do you think that like other species just like killed themselves in the pursuit of like AI because they could never come up with something like blockchains to coordinate
kinda,
the right
yeah, it's like
behavior?
one of the possibility, right?
that's really interesting, and I'm definitely going to be bringing that up to some people to talk about
Right.
that. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure if it's a valid theory. It's certainly an interesting theory, but um, I do think it's important to. Well, I mean that just makes me think about something that we're always asking internally at Talus, which is, are we sure what we're building needs a blockchain? Are we sure that this is not just a something that you can do with blockchain technology and with crypto, but is also something that's a major unlock, something that contributes to a better UX over what's possible in Web 2. And we're certain that what we're building at Talus is something that requires a blockchain. I can't say that for, like a lot of projects in crypto. Like if you think about um, well, I don't want to call anybody out, but I'll just say that that's something we're hyper focused on. Is not that we're decentralizing for the sake of decentralization, but we feel this is even though that's important. I do think as an individual, it's really important that we decentralize technology and that we make it more egalitarian and that it serves human purposes, but also that what we're allowing for by building Talus is something that can't be done with Web 2 infrastructure and can't be done with TradFi. So
You know, I've
that's
been
something
I've
I'm always
been
thinking about.
I've been reading a lot about the singularity, which is this concept that one of the most famous like AI scientist, Ray Kurzweil, has been like talking about for the past 30 years, which is what will happen when we actually merge with AI. Like right now, yeah, we've been interacting with AI at a, I'd say like safe distance, but what happens when we have like nanobots that are AI enhanced within our like blood cells in our brains to help us use like computer brain interfaces? And I think like if we are if we end up using all these services that, let's say, will enhance our cognition, enhance the way that we think, help us have like much more, call it like storage within our brains. I think it's going to be very very important to have decentralized tech backing all these systems. I don't know if it's going to be like a deep in network for like computer brain interfaces, or just like for like uh, chips that get integrated into your brain. But I do think that like if it's not built by decentralized platforms, or at least not managed by decentralized platforms, we run the risk for these centralized entities not only owning our, let's say, IDs as like WorldCoin is doing, but also by just like controlling what we do, what we think, how we act, how we perceive the world. And I think that is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, Brody and I are definitely aligned on that thesis of the world's, a centralized AI world is definitely a very scary place, and I think there's like a lot of use cases that just get completely thrown out the window if that's the sort of world that we're heading towards. So that's sort of what got us into DAI originally. Just in the interest of time, I know we're a little bit over time now, but I'm sort of want to give you guys a chance to look forward and maybe share a few key milestones on the roadmap for both Aura and Talus. Carlton, would you give us some things to look forward to with Aura?
Yeah, yeah. We are planning for the next IMO huge alpha leak in September, I guess. And we are still like working on the detail and like try to make it like even bigger. And that's like the number one thing we are planning for the second IMO. And the second thing is that like the first fair launch for the Aura ecosystem project will take place on the 1st of September, which is like 7007 AI dot AI. You guys can check it out. Super cool project. It's like AI GC NFT.
Awesome, thanks. We'll be looking out for that one, and we'll definitely be covering it at On-Chain
Yeah,
Outpost.
for sure.
Mike, do you want to jump in with a few points for Talus that we can look forward to? Give us some hopium.
Yeah, some simple things that we're working on right now is like finalizing the first version of the on-chain agentic framework, which we should be releasing in the next coming 2 3 weeks. For just start to onboard some initial agent builders and people who've been exciting about the platform for the past couple months. This is a great time because it's going to be the first on-chain agentic framework of its kind. So looking to see some very interesting use cases get built on top of it. We're also been like super involved within our own like community, talking a lot about AI and building our community platform. So if like you are part of our community and you've been listening all the time, our, let's say, code for just like the rewards would be ORA Talus, ORATALUS. And yeah, like we've been just having a lot of like activities, a lot of stuff to like do. And even we've been hosting like what we call Talus Tea Time, which is where like a community member just like talks about AI use cases and stuff that how it could impact our world on a daily life. So we've been actually like doing some interesting stuff and hope like organizing our like content strategy to make sure that like we can educate the community on AI agents, because I think there's a lot of like misunderstanding of like why they should be on chain. So kind of like proving the case with that and some demos as well.
Epic, epic. So lots to look forward to. Well, I think we're a bit over time now, gents. I just want to be respectful of your time. Thanks so much for hopping on. Maybe I'll get Carton. Could you go first and just let the audience know, where's best to learn more about Aura Protocol and ask sort of questions and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you can just go to our Twitter and our website. That's like the easiest way, and check out the doc. And you can also DM me. My DM is open.
Flood Carton's DMs. You heard him. And Mike or Ben, where's the best place to learn more about Talus and get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, you could join our Discord. Also, our DMs are super open, whether it's on Telegram or Twitter. We always love chatting to builders. I'm seeing a lot of people in the audience that we've actually talked to, and it's really exciting to hear them out. And yeah, also like Twitter or Mirror as well. We'll be releasing a native blog as well, to have better interfaces for everybody to read about Talus.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate you coming on and really excited to learn more about the project. Feel free to just share us with the alpha, and we'll cover it on On-Chain Outpost and make sure that our audience knows as well. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Thanks for the audience.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Peace.
Appreciate
Peace.
it.